According to reports overseas, the king is having a hard time trusting Prince Daniel. The king and Prince Daniel have had a mixed relationship. It took a long time before our monarch agreed to let Crown Princess Victoria get the man of her dreams. Some thought it was too long. The Tsar's treatment of Daniel is still a topic of conversation even abroad. Norwegian Seoghor has written a lengthy text on the relationship between father-in-law and son-in-law and has drawn radical conclusions. The king is allegedly behind the split in the royal family. Seoghor noted that Daniel and Victoria have few joint assignments on their future schedules. This is ultimately the king's responsibility as he is the head of the court. It seems that the king is not yet ready to trust Daniel, even though the son-in-law has already turned 50, Seoghor wrote, but as I said, it is not news that the king has had a hard time accepting Daniel into his heart, at least in the past. Svensk Damnedning editor-in-chief Johan Lindvall wrote about this in his book Victoria, Princess and Mother. Here is how Johan writes. During 2004, the relationship between Victoria and, above all, her father, the king, became increasingly strained. He did not hesitate to criticize her choice of boyfriend openly, in front of friends. The king really thought that Daniel Westling was a completely unsuitable man for his daughter. Today, both King and Daniel deny that they had a conflict. Neither of them wants to know that there were long periods of time in the beginning when they didn't speak to each other. But friends remember how displeased the king was, Johan writes. The king was concerned that Daniel was missing it. Above all, the king was affected by Daniel's lack of general education. The king was concerned about the fact that Daniel Westling lacked an academic education. In addition, the king felt that Daniel was not well read when it came to the flow of news in society. Another thing that annoyed the king was Daniel's then lack of knowledge of the English language. This was impossible since the country's future queen had a husband who did not speak fluent English, writes Johan T. Daniel had no social skills. The king and many in Victoria's entourage believed that Daniel was shy and could not behave properly in a social context. Daniel had difficulty meeting new people and Victoria had to intervene and mediate many times, most notably meetings with the media. Several times during this period Daniel walked away when reporters and photographers approached him and Victoria.